Druids have it pretty good. They have access to all the spells on their spell list, and all they have to do is prepare the right ones. And a lot of their spells are really cool. You read a name like Call Lightning, and it immediately paints a picture in your head. Hello? Is this Mr. Lightning's Emporium for all my electrostatic needs? Good. I'd like to order 1 murder, please. Thank you, Mr. Lightning! And Druids have really cool abilities to start out with. Turning into animals, casting spells, proficiency with darts. I think that's what draws a lot of new players into it. But some players pick spells they think are cool or good, only to realize they don't fully understand the spell and then get punished for when they try to use them.
Welcome!
Not all spells are created equal, nor should they be, but there are certain spells that aren't worth taking because another spell can do its intended purpose better, or does not work as intended at all. A perfect example of this is the spell Flame Blade. It's a spell where you summon a sword made entirely of flame to slash enemies with. It's a spell made to get you in close range, so you may burn and batter any brutes while brandishing your burning blade. Now really think about that. I'm not recommending you do this, but if you run your hand quickly over a candle flame, it won't do anything. If in real life you were to summon a flaming sword, you know when that everyday occurrence comes up, and swing a blade made of flame at someone as fast as you would a normal sword, I imagine it wouldn't do that much damage other than singeing some hairs. So I picture this spell as being like a massive blade-shaped blowtorch flame. While I never touched a blowtorch flame, I bet it hurt a lot. The flames are so dense and concentrated, it would burn on contact, almost like a superheated plasma. Wait a minute, is Flameblade just a lightsaber? But it's not all fun in midichlorians. It's a concentration spell. What's concentration, you ask? Well, in D&D, a concentration spell is a spell that lasts for a little while, and you can only focus on one concentration spell at a time. Because in the land of D&D, dragons are realistic, but multitasking is not. Here's the kicker. If you take damage, there is a chance you will lose concentration, and the effects of that spell are gone. You can run into the fray with this flame blade, get bonked once, and that spell slot gets wasted. And I'm about to drop a truth-shaped bomb on all y'all. If you run into melee, you're gonna get bonked. A lot. Those chances of losing concentration shoot up like a rocket with every added enemy that wants to get up in your grill. So Flame Blade, and by extension, any concentration spell that puts a puny little caster in melee range is bad and not worth using. When you take this spell, you wanna look like this. Not like this. So how do we fix this, you ask? We drop the concentration needed for the spell. If you cast a Flaming Blade, you want to be slashing through enemies, taking any hits dealt to you and repaying them back twice over with burning hot vengeance. But you don't want to stub your toe, waste a spell slot, and die. That's how Grandpappy died, and I don't want the same to happen to you. Also, the spell damage, as it's originally written, isn't great. I think the damage should be calculated as 3d6 plus the spellcasting ability modifier. Look, if I'm running into danger as a weak little druid and there's a chance my skull will be launched into the next room, the damage I put out better be worth it. Yeah, it's really strong at level 3 and 4, but once you get to level 5 and people get multi-attack, it's just okay. So is this spell just destined to only be used at low levels? Forgotten on the roads of history, a lowly stepping stone under the boot of those who march toward their legacy and legend? Not if we tweak it. So under rules as written, if we upcast this spell, it goes from flaming garbage to flaming garbage that you poorly decided to invest resources in. Use a 4th level spell slot and get a total of 4d6 damage. Wow! I'd rather stub my toe and die. Here are all the better things you can use a 4th level spell slot to do. Let's give Flame Blade an extra attack as a bonus action. Making the second attack as a bonus action is very important. If it was just an extra attack, you could attack twice, then concentrate on another spell, like Flaming Sphere, to deal an insane amount of damage in one turn. This steers players using Flame Blade to spend their concentration on buff or debuffing spells like Warding Wind, Confusion, or Hold Person. Before you all scream, "This is overpowered, you gorgeous sack of bones," or "This handsome devil is trying to lead us astray." First of all, I'd have to say, oh my god, thank you, stop it, oh my god. And second of all, the crazy things you can do with attacking twice with Flame Blade and concentration on another spell requires some setup, so it will tax your turn economy. And while the damage is very good at level 7, it tapers off fairly quickly as you level up. Also, if I'm spending a 4th level spell slot, I won't return on my investment, damn it. Here is my version of the spell in its entirety. Moving on to another melee spell that should drop concentration is Barkskin. It's a spell that gives 16 AC and is again, concentration. Why are all the melee-focused spells only good if I don't get hit? Imagine if a barbarian's rage ended if he got bonked once.
I see the error of my ways. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at myself for not being brave enough to resolve things by opening up to others. You showed me the missteps of my undertakings. Thank you.
Here is my version of the spell. Now you can cosplay as a redwood with more confidence, so go hug trees and concentrate on your tree waifu's needs. Water me, daddy. Keeping with the theme of getting wood, let's look at Shillelagh. This spell lets you take a stick, pump it full of Irish energy to make it a magic stick. It lets you use wisdom instead of strength to attack while also making the stick magical. Fun fact, in real life, shillelaghs were used to solve gentlemanly disputes, so a duel where you beat the snot out of someone with a stick. Which now that I think about it is safer than a pistol duel, so 10 points to Ireland, I guess. Back to fantasy nonsense. The spell is good at low levels, but it doesn't scale like the other cantrips do. The solution? Give it a +1 to hit and damage every time it's supposed to scale up like the other cantrips do. It's not like you can use a spell on a magic weapon anyway. Besides, who needs a magic weapon when you got a big old pile of sticks? Here is my version. Now go forth and walk softly and carry a big, wise stick. I am aware that this buff seems underwhelming. +1 to damage. Stop the presses. Call the balance police! Alert the army! This spell only really works for nature clerics or spore druids, but hey, for all those who want to be a melee druid using a melee cantrip, you still got Primal Savagery. It's a spell that lets you grow fangs and claws to deliver deadly acid, which is a lot cooler than using a magic stick in my opinion. Also, can we talk about Primal Savagery for a second? It doesn't need a buff, but I just want to bring something to all of your attention. The description of the spell reads, you channel primal magic to cause your teeth or fingernails to sharpen, ready to deliver a corrosive attack. The teeth becoming fangs to inject acid is kind of like how a snake works, so that makes sense. But how do you deliver acid through your fingernails? Do your fingers become medical syringes? Or is it like that lady from the movie Holes who had rattlesnake venom nail polish? Does the druid go down to Sephora so that he may literally dress to kill? I have so many questions. Wizards of the Coast, please respond. My email. Moving on from painting our nails, let's talk about a newer spell that you might not know about, Guardian of Nature. It's a 4th level spell that came out of Xanathar's. I'm gonna hand it over to my associate Xploding Trees to explain.
Guardian of Nature is a self-buffing spell that has 2 forms to choose from. The first form is Primal Beast, which lets you amplify your furry powers without the monetary investment of a fursuit. The second form, the Great Tree, gives you temporary HP, advantage on Constitution saves, makes you more accurate with Dex and Wisdom-based attacks, and has tree roots awkwardly caress the enemy's legs, causing them to slow down and evaluate their life choices that brought them to this point. These are not spicy enough, but we can fix that. Let's focus on the Primal Beast form first. It's a melee-based spell with concentration. As my calcium-rich colleague stated earlier, you're going to lose concentration pretty quickly if you're in melee. To counteract this, let's borrow from the Great Tree form and give Primal Beast advantage on Constitution saving throws. I'd need concentration too if I was in the middle stage of an Animorph transition. It's still not great, so let's give them advantage on Strength saving throws as well. You can't call yourself a beast with puny arms like those. They don't have gym class in Druid school? That small addition should make this transformation viable and desirable, just like me. Next is the Great Tree transformation. Getting 10 HP? Pathetic. Let's bump that to 20. Secondly, let's hit advantage on checks and saves to avoid being knocked prone. Mighty oaks don't tend to lie down, and neither should you. I believe this answers the age-old question. If a tree falls down in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? I don't know, but the sound of a tree snapping the necks of its victims can be heard for miles. Here's the buffed version of the spell, and now, if you'll excuse me, there's a group of heathens using flanking rules, and I need some more fertilizer for my garden. Ciao!
Godspeed, you magnificent son of a birch. Our last spell to buff is the cantrip called Resistance. This cantrip can... Oh, well, it appears we've run out of time, folks. Resistance will have to get you next time. Join me on the show next week for our expose on moon druids. Wicked cool Animorph or glorified furry. Good night, everybody. Oh, hey. It was a joke, man. It's all in good fun, you know. Okay. All right. Let's calm down. No one needs to get hurt about this. Hey guys, it's me, Bone Wizard. that person from the video you just watched. That's right, this one. Thanks for watching. And I also like to thank Xploding Trees for helping me out with this video. He was a great guy to work with, and I also helped him out with one of his videos. It's a good time. And his drawings are better, so go check him out. There's a link to his video in the description. And be sure to leave a comment on his video telling him Bone Wizard apologizes for peaking the audio so much. If you like this video, share it with a druid in your game. And, maybe we can finally have a good melee druid with these changes. Who knows? I just think that you should be able to go up and whack a dude and also be kind of a hippie. I don't think those things have to be mutually exclusive. There, I said what we're all thinking. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye-bye!